All right, it looks like I am live. Interesting. It's been a long time since I've went live on stream, but I've decided while I'm doing some work, I'm going to let everybody know I'm coming back. I'm going to go ahead and do a full channel about things that are going on. So most of you know I'm a bounty hunter by trade. And, well, I was law enforcement by trade for 24 years. But got out of that because it's just not for me anymore. I lost my desire to do it under modern conditions. Got brought into the bounty hunting field. Yes, they do exist. It's kind of interesting. But it's a pretty interesting thing to talk about. We had a lot of, we have our own channel called the Lone Star Fugitive Hunters, and what I'm going to do is kind of have my own channel here at Mansformation, which might be changing its name soon. I'll let you know. But we're going to talk about bounty hunting. We're going to talk about, I'm a single male at 40, almost 44 years old. I'm taking good care of myself. I've changed my whole life in the last 2 years, 2.5 years. I was pathetic for the last 20 years. I mean, we'll go over this in future videos, but I lost my masculinity, everything. Like I lost the alpha in me. I was doing alpha things, but in the home life, in the real world versus the work world, I was failing miserably. And I've completely changed my outlook. I'm in better shape now. Well, the last few weeks I've been on the road. So I had to eat kind of crappy for a few weeks and not work out like I should. But I'm back home and we're going to do this. So more things. We're going to talk about masculinity, modern masculinity, and how the modern boy needs help from us guys who are strong men. How to motivate them, how to get them disciplined, how to help America be America again. We're going to talk about watches, of course, because this channel was originally brought up on watches. I went viral on several watch videos that should be here that were about watch gang. And it was when I was first getting into doing... hold on one second. Okay, I was just making sure the video is working. But I was really just trying to get into watches. My life was miserable. My girlfriend at the time was not good. The situation at home was not good, and that'll be for a future video. And watches were kind of watches and fishing became kind of my outs. It was really interesting. And I really enjoy the watch side of things, the watch world. I'm currently wearing a Breitling that I've been able to get over the last couple years, last year or so. And we'll do videos on this, and I'll do better quality videos. I'm just doing this out of the blue right now this morning on my camera on my computer, which is terrible. But I'm going to hook up a good camera system and all that. This is just for today. We're going to talk about fashion. I've had to completely change my fashion now that I'm single as a middle-aged, successful-ish, 40-ish year old male, especially in the dating world, because things are, you're in that period now where you need to be a man, not try to be a boy like any of these guys wearing flat-billed caps and jerseys, and you need to set yourself apart as a masculine, true man, which includes dressing nice when you are out and taking care of your household, taking care of your clothing. And we're going to do videos on that kind of stuff. Who knows? We may do all kinds of stuff. There's definitely going to be collaborations with the fugitive hunting stuff, and how all that goes down. And we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna see. I'm trying to build myself, not only physically, mentally, but financially. And I've been able to, in the last 2 years, go from being a government worker, barely making it, to working in the bail bonds industry as a bounty hunter, doing fairly well with that. and I've been able to build a business in the last 2.5 years that is really blossomed more than I could have ever imagined. I've learned a lot about business. I don't know a lot about business, but I feel like I've figured out a little bit of a secret on how these things, not secret, but what it takes mentally, what it takes financially, what it takes discipline-wise to get yourself into a point where you can make a side hustle where you're making 6 figures on the side, and build that and build other things to continue expanding your little empire. So that's what I'm doing, and it's a completely different mindset than I had my whole life. My whole life is I thought I had to work for the government and or work for somebody else, and I've decided that is not what life is about. It is for some people, but it's not for me. And I'm hoping that people who watch this channel are the same as me when it comes to you're not meant to be a follower. You're meant to create. You're meant to be focused. You're meant to dominate. It's hard to explain, but some of us were internally we're pretty much born as that way as men. How would you define that? Some men are not strong. They're not maybe super intelligent book-wise, but they may be strong in other aspects. Some men are meant to be workers. They don't have the leadership qualities. They don't have the discipline, but they are fantastic at whatever they do. And they are people who were meant to work under somebody who built something. I mean, it's just the way it's been for thousands of years, and we're not anything new. To say that doesn't exist is a lie. We all know that certain people were born leaders or disciplined enough to create themselves as leaders, and those are the people who build companies. Those are the people who run companies and manage large amounts of people. Those are the people who go into the military or in law enforcement and become leadership. Well, questionably. We'll talk about law enforcement stuff in future episodes because, like I said, I did that for 20-something years, and it's not quite what it used to be. So I have not checked the news today. I don't know if anything is going on crazy. I've just been kind of working here this morning. So I don't know if anybody even watches this channel anymore, but we're going to grow it. I don't care if nobody watches it. I'm just going to come on every day, or not every day, but I'm going to figure out a schedule for these live things, and maybe every morning. I don't know, and we could just do a morning show. But there's going to be produced videos of different things, how I'm building businesses, how I'm taking care of things, how I'm as a near 44-year-old man am resetting life because I lost what I wanted to be when I was young. And, some people like to say, use the word midlife crisis. I think for some people it's a midlife crisis. There are people who are just losing their minds because they're growing old. With me, I think I think there are people like this who it's more of a midlife reset. Let's all get in this. Let's set the frame here with this. When you are young, you have dreams, something that you might have wanted to be. You might have wanted to be a race car driver. You might have wanted to be a police officer. You might have wanted to be the president. Who knows? And as you continue to grow up, you just have these dreams of being something. You want to be a multimillionaire with a yacht or whatever it may be. You want to be a soldier. You want to be a firefighter. And you become an adult, and maybe you made the wrong choices, or sometimes life throws you a bone or throws you a wrench, kind of messes up your gears and sets you off course. However, it is ultimately our free will to decide how we're going to live our life. But sometimes it takes you a long time to figure that out. And I think that with some people, you had these dreams, you grow up looking at Ferraris or Mustangs or what jets, maybe you're a plane person, and that was you wanted that. You knew that that was something you wanted. You wanted a family, you wanted whatever. And then you make certain choices. Maybe you weren't being disciplined. Maybe you lost sight with religion, something along those lines, and you lost your way when you were young and ended up 20 years later remembering who you are. So I would consider it more of a midlife reset. And I've completely changed my life in 2.5 years. And, I know there's a lot of men out there struggling with the same kind of thing. So we're going to talk about that kind of stuff on these shows and how I've rebuilt my life. And it's not even, I still got a lot I'm trying to do, a lot to learn. I'm just starting this. This is like you're going to go through the journey with me as I build myself up as a man, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, everything. We're going to try to build this channel on that and do cool stuff because I am a bounty hunter, so you're going to get to see that side of my life and what goes down as a bounty hunter and the real life stuff, not the stuff you see with certain YouTube stars that fake it. But we're going to show you what it's really like on my channel and on the Lone Star Fugitive Hunters. I recommend you go ahead and subscribe to that because we're going to be bringing in new videos that are probably more detailed. But it is a cool thing. I get to do a lot of traveling. We're on the road a lot in my general area. I live in the general Austin, San Antonio area. We'll just say that. And there's a lot going on here, so we're here a lot. But I also have to travel out of state sometimes, all over the state of Texas for sure. But sometimes to places like Missouri, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, Ohio. There's places I'm going to be traveling for work, and you're going to get to see what lifestyle. This is I live an interesting lifestyle. It's not for everybody, and it's not necessarily what a lot of men want to live. And I'm not going to say I necessarily wanted to live this way too, but I kind of ended up this way, and I at this point, I kind of like my freedom. But, most people grow up and are taught and expected to marry, have children, and get a good job at the factory or whatever cool thing is over in your area that makes good money, and just live your life and build a family. And that's the American dream for most people. And it honestly was for me as well, just life did not give me that path. I married at, 26, I think, something like that, to a woman that I don't think I was in love with. I was in lust with her at the time for sure. I had an emotional attachment to her. But when we decided to get married, it was not because we wanted to marry. It was because she got pregnant. So it wasn't necessarily the path that I wanted to go, but I went that way. And I was working as a police officer in Florida. And I worked for a small agency and I was miserable, absolutely miserable. I loved being a cop. I loved doing the work I was doing at that time for sure. I was a canine handler, absolutely loved it. I did not like the leadership I had at the time. And now that in retrospect, I'll look back and say it wasn't really that bad. It was, but did we make a big deal out of it when we could have handled it different? Absolutely. Lessons learned. And I'm sorry that it went down that way. We lost we had a police chief that got in trouble for basically stealing stuff out of the evidence room, drugs and money. And he was a good guy. He had a problem at home, we'll just say that. And he had to continue to feed that problem at home, which led to bad decisions. Then we had another police chief who most of us liked, but our problem with, and I'm not even going to talk about that one. There were issues there that were brought up, but he's a good guy. He's a good man. He's grown to be a good man. If anything, he's similar to my story, where you kind of get abruptly removed from law enforcement. However, it was the best thing that ever happened to you. So, he's developed in the nearly same industry that I'm in, a really good life for himself, and it worked out for him, and maybe it was the way it was supposed to be. And then I ended up being, I was a canine handler at the time, and they brought back an old chief who was known to be a problem, and I immediately did not want to work there anymore, especially because I was trying to apply at police departments and sheriff's offices in the general area, and they basically associated all of the officers at that department as being corrupt and or incompetent, and it wasn't true. We were just taking the blunt of the things that were happening publicly from the department, and I was having a hard time getting a job, so I decided I was going to go overseas as a Department of Defense and Department of State contractor, doing stuff. So contracting is a wide variety of things. I'm not going to go into the specifics of what we did, but I was mainly in the Balkan region, mostly in that region, and that's where I worked. And I worked there from 2008 to 2010. And now when you see the stuff about my bounty hunting side of life, you'll see Justin, we call him Mr. X on Lone Star Fugitive Hunters, and on that show. And he and I met while we were both contracting overseas. Now, I came home to try to save my marriage. He stayed for like another decade doing all kinds of cool stuff contracting. So I ended up coming back, getting back into law enforcement, and getting sent to a federal task force doing really cool stuff, counter cartel stuff, and tactical operations for high level warrants like murder, high end drug cartel kind of stuff, child predators, child porn. I'm sorry, I'm not child corn. We would occasionally do those cases too, and those are messy. Those people should not be around. We'll just say that. So, had a crazy life, and we're going to talk about that on this channel too. We've been on air for about 18 minutes, 19 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end this first morning show right now, by reading a speech. And this may be something that I do every time I go live. So I got this little speech, motivational speech, that I put together, and, assisted by AI. But I'm going to read it, and I think it's good. And this, like I said, this is probably going to become a thing that happens every morning. So here we go. The world doesn't need more men who talk about being men. It needs men who become men. Men forged in fire, not comfort. Men who don't flinch when life hits them in the mouth, but hit back harder. You hit back harder. You want to know why the modern man is weak? Because he's been told that masculinity is a problem, that discipline is toxic, that power should be apologized for. No. Real masculinity isn't oppression. It is order. It is leadership. It's responsibility when everyone else is running away. The masculine spirit built civilizations. And the lack of that masculine spirit has destroyed them throughout history. There are two paths every man walks. The path of comfort, where excuses feel good and times die slow, or the path of war, where pain becomes his progress and weakness burns away. You can't have both. You have to manage both. You either build yourself or life will build your replacement. Discipline isn't punishment. It's not punishment. It's freedom. Every rep, every early morning, every sacrifice you make, that is how you become unstoppable. You don't chase motivation. That fades. You build habits that stay. Motivation makes boys feel inspired. Boys. Discipline. Discipline is what makes you a dangerous man. And they don't want those type of men around. Morality and power are not enemies. A weak man with morals can't even defend them. A powerful man without morals will destroy everything. But a man who masters both morality and power, that is a man who has the strength to crush evil. The strength to destroy. Yet they have the wisdom and they choose to be restrained. That man is balanced. That man is feared by the wicked and respected by the good. That, gentlemen, is the goal. You're meant to stand out. If you're watching this channel, you're meant to stand out. You're meant to lead, to protect, and build a legacy that outlives you. Stop wasting your days. Stop wasting your life. One day you will wake up and realize that your life wasn't how you wanted it to be, how you dreamed it to be. Stop scrolling. You are wasting your life away scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's mindless entertainment to keep you down, keep you busy, but busy in the wrong way. Stop waiting. Nobody's going to come help you. Nobody's going to come make you go to the gym. Nobody's going to make you put down that chocolate, that ice cream. Nobody's going to make you eat clean. You have to make that choice. Stop waiting for it. Take control. Not tomorrow, not next week, not at a New Year's Day promise you make to yourself, a New Year's resolution that you're going to fix your life starting January 1st. If you want it and you're man enough to do it and take control, stop wasting time. Stop waiting. Stop wasting your fire and growing older like I did. Because every day you procrastinate, somewhere in your life, another man is training to be better than you, training to be stronger than you, training to be tougher than you, training to hurt you, training to have more power than you, to take your job, to get that raise, to build that company, to make that product that you dream of. Somewhere in your life, a man is training to take that place. Be the man who's ready when the world calls on you. Not the one who blames the world around you for never calling, for holding you down. Power without discipline is chaos. Discipline without purpose is slavery. But power, discipline, and purpose combined, gentlemen, that's how legends are born. That's how your name carries on. That's how empires were built. You don't need permission to be a great man. Do you think great men of the past asked for permission to become legendary? They didn't. You need direction. You need discipline. And you need the courage to walk alone until you have built yourself into a man that can't be ignored and others follow. The masculine man is not extinct. He's awakening. And when he arises, he'll rebuild what the weak men have destroyed. The weak men, you know exactly what we're talking about, that have destroyed this country. The masculine strong man will rebuild it after they've destroyed it. Forge yourself into that man. Be the reason your bloodline stands proud again. Be the reason your family name lives on. Be the reason your children and their children remember your name. The world doesn't need more safe men. It needs strong men. It needs tough men. It needs dangerous men with good hearts. Thank you all for watching, or if you do watch this, we will continue. I think I am going to do these little speeches at the end of everyone. It kind of went pretty well, other than my phone's ringing. I need to shut them off, but it's my guys. They're probably asking if we're working. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go bounty hunt, and you will see videos on that soon, and we're going to continue on. I'm going to just make random videos, and I hope you subscribe. Click that little bell if you want to be notified when I am online or have uploaded anything. And I'd really appreciate it. I want to try to build this channel up. So I hope to see you again soon and become the man you want to be. Goodbye, gentlemen.